I have not even got the faintest idea if I'm live. Who knows? Let's see. How do I know if I'm alive? I don't know if I know if I'm doing this or not. It'd be nice if that says 53 seconds. Recording. Blah blah blah. Well, okay, I'll go and do what I was going to do anyway, which is to say hello. I'm John Paul. Hello, and I've got a book coming out. It is out. It's called Psalms for the City, and it's got my own drawings and words in it. And my agent asked me to make sure that people put reviews on Amazon because it will help. I kind of hate doing that sort of thing, but so anyway, I thought, how can I ask people who've sent me some really nice messages about the book, how can I ask people to post a review on Amazon? So I looked on Amazon and I saw that I so far had 4 reviews, and what was I going to say? Oh yeah, one of the reviews is pretty negative. 1 star out of 5, because apparently the book wasn't what this person expected. So I was a bit fed up this morning, because that doesn't really help. Anyway, so I thought, what can I do? I don't want to complain about someone. If they didn't like the book, I'm really sorry. Sorry it wasn't what they expected, but I didn't want to just get into a big fuss and whine about people being negative. So what I decided to do instead is go on Amazon and leave some positive reviews for someone else as a kind of cosmic payback. I don't know how that's going to work, but I thought if I can leave positive reviews for other books and live stream myself doing what seems to be an incredibly boring thing, but I don't know. Please don't be offended, but I've never used Twitch before, and quite a lot of the streams are just, to me, it's amazing that anyone would want to watch that. But I can see actually that there's something really mesmerising about the streams where people are doing drawing, and I want to do those, so I'm going to do those very soon. It was actually my publisher who said, maybe you should do something on Twitch. I'd never even heard of Twitch until like 3 weeks ago. And initially I did something on YouTube, and I don't know if that was any good or not, but I quite like the idea of Twitch. It seems so utterly unlike anything I've used before. Anyway, so my point is, I've got this book out. It's called Psalms for the City. I'm really pleased with it. It's my first book that I illustrated. I've done other books, but I've not illustrated any before, and I quite like them. The pictures are places in London. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to do. Yeah, that's why I set this up. I hope this works. I set up the Twitch so that I can show my phone down there, something on the screen like this. Dun, dun, dun. I'll still be visible in this top corner. Where is it? Over there. That one. In that one, I'm still visible. Really confusing. So there are nice comments on the front of the book. Hooray. But now there's 1 negative review on Amazon. And I know it doesn't matter. This person got the book, didn't like it, wants to send it to a charity shop for someone who might find it. That's quite nice, really. But it's still really got under my skin. So I'm going to try to... what's that say? I don't... This is really weird. I have no idea if I'm doing anything at all right. So anyway, the book that I decided to review was by one of my own favourite authors and illustrators, John Burningham, who is no longer with us. Oh yeah, I just show that to the phone. And I'm still here. Look, hello, I'm still here. Right, okay, that makes sense. John Burningham, who actually lived in a similar part of London to me, and who died maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, and he wrote and illustrated. I've got a signed copy, you see. He wrote and illustrated a lot of books, mostly for children, and I had some of them when I was a young child, and I then got some for my own offspring, and so I'm really familiar with his work. I thought I'd just look at the book and wave it around to the camera there and talk about it, and then write a review for Amazon. So that's my plan with this sensational Twitch stream. Okay, let's have a picture of John Burningham first, shall we? Come on, where is he? He is with his wife, who is also became a very successful children's book illustrator, Helen Oxenbury. She illustrated, among other things, Let's Go on a Bear Hunt. It was written by Michael Rosen. Anyway, there we are. So, and there's an introduction to this book by Maurice Sendak, who wrote Where the Wild Things Are. And then John Burningham talks about, starts off surprisingly with something about his childhood in which they lived in a caravan. Now, as I remember it, this book includes not only drawing from some of his books, but also a photograph of him doing a prototype of the car that was then used in the film Chitty Bang Bang. So John Burningham actually invented that car. Let me see if I can find that in the book. And what seems a little bit unfair, he doesn't make a big fuss about it, but he didn't actually get much credit for that. So he illustrated the magical flying car. There we go. There is Chitty Chitty Bang in his illustration, which you can see is partly based on a photo, and then he's drawn on top of the photo. And that's a technique that I've been using quite a lot recently, totally inspired by John Burningham. And here he is with the model car, hanging it from a wire or something, so he could draw it as it was flying. And here is the model car. Can you see that? There we go. Yeah, there we are. And some more of his illustrations. So the thing is, he does say that he never actually saw the film. I never saw the film that was made after the book came out. Neither did I. Oh, hang on, who didn't? Oh, Ian Fleming. Ian Fleming, who wrote the James Bond books, also wrote Chitty Bang Bang. Not many people know that. Fleming never saw the film that was made after the books came out, and nor did John Burningham. It was perhaps a little ungracious of the filmmakers not to ask me to be involved in some way. That's what he says. Nice. Anyway, not by any means a big complaint or anything. I just remember reading it and thinking, God, that's so unfair for poor John Burningham. He should have got more credit than that. Not that there's any rule about these things. Okay, so he went to art school and he did the sorts of things you do when you go to art school. And drew a lot of pictures, obviously. And even back then, you could see he was doing this thing of drawing onto photos. So this has had an enormous effect on me. So there's a photo, I think, of his school. I can't read it now, obviously, because it's not facing me. And there's another one where he's... I don't know if he did this much later. Maybe he was doing this years later. But there's a photograph. So what's that? That's the caravan where he did. In the mornings, I would open the caravan door and the field would be full of mushrooms. I collect a bucket full before cows trod on them. So he probably drew that much later, but anyway, there you go. And one of the things that I really love, and that I've tried to copy myself, is John Burningham. One of his early professional jobs was to make posters for London Underground. And he did several of them. London Transport, you know, the buses and the tubes and everything. Okay, so here are a couple. Men just lazing around in flowers and a little bit of words down here, the copy for the poster. That's another poster. Both London Underground. You see the logo. There's the logo. And what he also did did, again, the drawing on photos. I've forgotten how much I absolutely love the drawing on photos. This picture that I'm about to show you, I think it's the original, or it may have been a limited edition print, but in one of the pubs in Hampstead near where I live, and where he lived, and where he obviously went quite a lot, there are lots of original John Burningham pictures on the walls, and one of them is the enormous poster, which I'm about to show you a detail of. So bear in mind, it's enormous. It shows all these plants, but it's way higher. It's all sort of in British paper sizing, it's probably A0, which is a big piece of paper, and it's got this kind of X-ray effect of the plants. And then down at the bottom, he's drawn some people having fun in the park. And this is on one of his posters for London Transport. It's going a bit closer. So he obviously got a really big print of that, whatever it is, X-ray of the plants. And then he painted on top, drew on top, these figures having fun in the park. So I've told you a couple of things I really like about the book. The Chitty Bang Bang thing and the drawing on photos. Another thing I really like is his versatility in terms of how he drew and painted. Let me find an example. So quite a lot of unpainting. When you paint one colour under another, it has a very strong effect. So here, under the orange sky, he's painted black first. He painted a black sky and then painted orange on top of it. So it gives a very moody, dark atmosphere. And that's rather special. I think that was in one of the books I had when I was a child. It was about a really not that special horse. You can just see the horse down here in its stable. I think you can see that. Anyway, that horse suddenly got picked for some reason that I don't remember to be the main horse in the Lord Mayor's show in London. So there we go. That's the horse and the Lord Mayor. And that's one style of drawing. But then there's a very different one here, which is done with, I guess it's pencil or even maybe colour pens, but very fine drawing with just lines like that. And no paint, no underpainting. Very delicate work. Line drawing, lots of cross hatching. And some of his stories are just sort of funny. Like, what would you rather? Would you rather be crushed by a snake, swallowed by a fish, eaten by a crocodile, or sat on by a rhinoceros? Okay. Sat on by a rhinoceros. You see the face of the person. Doesn't look like agony, but does look enormously happy, which makes me smile. It's not absolutely sort of crushed. But looking eaten by a crocodile, you can just see the feet popping out of the crocodile's mouth. What were the other ones like? That's the I can't read it backwards. Crushed by a snake. Okay, looks a bit startled. And definitely a bit shocked to be swallowed by a fish. Okay, so kind of humorous, gently humorous, very gentle kind of writer and illustrator. Yet another painting on a photo painting of boat. Gosh, he did it a lot. I really have been very interested by John Burningham. Yep, another one. Outside the Houses of Parliament. And there's some more that I love of people falling down from the tumbling through the sky. Where is it? Cloudland. Nice book. Here we go. Here's people flying around in the clouds. So it's a photograph of a cloud and people flying or dropping on it. I don't know does he say how he did it? By using photographic backgrounds in this story, it could be construed that I cheated by not draw the clouds, but with hindsight, it would have been very much easier to draw them. I took several photographs of clouds, both on the ground and from the air. On various flights by aeroplane, I took photographs of that moment when the plane breaks through the clouds. This puzzled other passengers who looked through their windows, wondering what it was I could see. I ended up short of a rainbow and constantly on guard with a camera. When I was in Western Ireland, a wonderful rainbow appeared, which I was in a panic to photograph before it vanished. People have all sorts of ideas about what the story is. Perhaps it's about death and reincarnation. Who knows? Interesting how obviously illustrations and illustrators work on what's going on in their own life somewhat. So just popping back to my book, I drew a lot of pictures about the places. I think it's original poetry inspired by the places we call home. I'm not normally a very slow reader, it's just I was reading it backwards. So those are places that mean something to me and John Burningham. So perhaps it was the birth of my first grandchild that brought about this next book. And then a couple of pages later he says, I had reached the year of the bus pass for being retirement age. So I thought I'd get the views and advice of others about old age and compile and illustrate a book on the subject. So I guess that's what people do, is they find things in their lives, having a grandchild or becoming a pensioner or whatever it is. And yeah, anyway. So I said I was going to write an Amazon review. I've done a kind of micro review just by going on about it. Telling you about it. So let me see what I can tell you. This book one of the things I think I saw on here was that the book, it's obviously not been reprinted since it was published, and there are, it's weird doing it on Twitch. I don't know if I'm doing it all right. I've been going on for 18 minutes, so hey. What can I say? Oh yeah, so this hardback edition, of which I have a signed copy. Apparently it costs £200 or £300 now. I suppose because they haven't reprinted it, it's hard to get hold of. Right, I'm now going to see if I can read to you some of the reviews, which you might be able to see if your eyesight is better than mine. How do I change that? Maybe I can't. Maybe I can. Edit scene. Yeah, let me make that bigger because you don't need to see two versions of me now. Well, you never did, but you certainly don't need to now. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Okay, Mrs. J. Gibbs. Mrs. J. Gibbs says, this book is a joy. It's a wonderful tale written by a modest, unassuming man about his life. He explains influences which made him the artist who has held thousands of children and adults entranced by his stories. It has many beautiful illustrations, and I hope I've shown you. Have I done that? Have I saved that properly? I hope so. Edit the scene. I don't think I need all that stuff for there. Let's make this bigger, but not the ad at the side. I don't care about the ad at the side. Well, I know. I'll change that so I'm there instead of the ad. That's odd. Maybe I have to go over here now. This book is a joy, blah, blah, blah. I agree with her. The book brought all that back. I've shown it to 2 grown-ups now who are both determined to ask for it for Christmas. Worth every penny. I don't even know, I've come on Twitch now. I don't even know if I'll be able to leave a review. Maybe I can. I don't know if I've ever done one before on Amazon. Certain time. A joyful book crammed with lots of anecdotes and fabulous pictures. The London Transport posters are wonderful. There you go. Someone else who likes the wonderful London Transport posters. From other countries. Someone in the US. I love John Burningham's picture books. Wanted to know more about the man behind him. This book delivers. He gives just the right amount of detail. Is beautifully self-deprecating. Talks about his growth as an artist and the techniques behind many of the spreads in his book. If you are a Burningham fan or a fan of picture books, want to know more about how they may get this book. Delightful book for someone like me who's always loved John Burningham's books. It was a delight to find out he's made for another of my favourite children's books and authors and illustrators, Helen Oxenbury. I told you that earlier, didn't I? Right at the beginning of this stream. Now, how do I leave a review? Especially when I've got this thing. Oh, right, okay. Which has temporarily come off my screen. How do I leave a review? Customer reviews. Can I leave a review? Leave a review. There we go. Okay, right now, so you can see Twitch at the same time. Overall rating 5 stars. Oh yes. What's the most important thing to know? Most important thing, I suppose this is the headline. An author illustrator explains how he works. Explains beautifully how he works. Explains his work and career beautifully. Explains his work and career beautifully. An author illustrator explains his work and career. Let's put beautifully in brackets. Oops, not that way. There we go. That way. Do I save the scene that I've changed? I don't know. Okay, it looks like I'm doing this entirely on my own to nobody, but that's absolutely right. Add a photo or video. Have I got one? I don't think so. Can I stop streaming from my phone and take a photo? Maybe. Let's try. Yeah, looks like it. Okay, so now can I send that while I'm streaming to my Mac? Yep. Okay, open that. I might have to, I don't know. I might have to export it as a JPEG. Okay, done that. Upload the picture, John Burningham book. Upload. What did I use the product for? I used it for reading. Now what's happened? No, it doesn't want me to click on this box. Oh yeah, there you go. John Burningham several of my favourite friends' books. He was one of those writers and illustrators I would have begged my parents to buy for me, and when I had a child myself, I was thrilled to find that he was still producing terrific, funny, charming and beautiful books, storybooks. I can still remember the nasal voice I put on when I was reading the magic bed to my own child. A little bit of extraneous detail there, about having a funny voice that I used when I was being one of the characters in that book. Seemed to entertain my offspring. As somebody who illustrates and rates books, having grown up to write and illustrate my own books, I look to Burningham as a tremendous role model who stayed fresh and original throughout his career, which he writes about in this beautiful volume. Which he writes about modestly in this beautifully illustrated book. Highlights for me include his frequent use of drawing on top of photographs, his original model of the car in Ian Fleming's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and the sheer versatility of his illustration style. This is nothing to do with the book, so I better not put that. This is a book for anybody who has loved Burningham work and wants to know more about the man himself and how he created it's also for anybody who is just interested, who doesn't know Burningham yet, but is curious about how any author illustrator might sustain a lifelong passion for the okay, yeah, that will do. An author illustrator explains his work and career beautifully. John Burningham wrote and illustrated several of my favourite children's books. He was several of the books I loved most as a child. He was one of those illustrators I've begged my parents to buy, whose books I would have begged my parents to buy for me, and when I had a child myself, I was thrilled to find he was still producing funny, charming and beautiful stories. I've said books enough in that paragraph. I can still remember the nasal voice of John when I was reading The Magic Bed to my child. Having grown up to write and illustrate my own books, I regard Burningham as a tremendous role model who stayed fresh and original throughout his career. She writes about modestly in this beautifully illustrated book. Too much beautiful. Funny, charming and expressive. I regard Burningham as a tremendous role model, which he writes about modestly in this beautifully illustrated book. Around the beautiful illustration, which he writes about modestly in this lavishly illustrated book. Lavishly illustrated large format hardback book. Highlights for me include his frequent use of drawing on top of photographs from his early posters for London Transport to later books to later children's books. His original model of the car in Ian Fleming's Bang Bang, and the sheer versatility of his drawing style. I've had enough illustration. This is a book for anybody who's loved Burningham's books and wants to know more about the man himself and how he worked. It's also for anybody who doesn't know Burningham yet, but is curious about how an author illustrator might sustain a lifelong passion and success in the work. Submit. There we go. We're processing a review. This might take several days. Okay. Whatever. Okay, I think I've come to the end of my extraordinarily exciting session. Oh no.